I can't do it, R2. I can't go on alone.
Yoda will always be with you.
Obi-Wan! Why didn't you tell me? You told me Vader betrayed and murdered my father.
There has been a great disturbance in the Force. Many of the truths we cling to have been maligned and twisted.
So what's the real truth about my father?
Darth Vader was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil.
So you did teach him. What was he like? What do you remember?
He could swing a lightsaber as well as the next Jedi, I suppose, but he is most remembered, I think, for his melodramatic flair and stone-faced whining.
Aww.
Yes, just like that. Whined about everything, really. The Jedi Council, Yoda, Padme, politics, rules, sand, even me. If Anakin's mouth was open, chances were that teenage angst was going to flow through it.
Not much of a legacy.
I can't say I blame him, though. He was turned down and kicked around by everyone except Qui-Gon. Come to think of it, the only one who really respected him with any consistency was Palpatine.
Well, he must have been exceptional at something.
Well, when I first met him, your father was already a great pilot.
Really? Was he a spice smuggler? Part of a scrappy squadron of resistant fighters in the Outer Rim? Bullseyeing womp rats from a T-16? What?
He was a 9-year-old driving a glorified one-seater land speeder.
Land speeder?
It was called pod racing. Big engines, lots of fun.
Well, I guess that's close enough.
Eventually, he did end up in a fighter, and he did fly. Largely by accident. I actually have a bit of a black box recording of his comms.
I don't know where the trigger is. Oops, wrong one. It's on automatic pilot. Okay, let's go left. I'll try spinning. That's a good trick. Oops. Now this is pod racing.
As I said, great pilot.
Anything else?
He did manage to age significantly in a decade when the rest of the galaxy seemed suspended in time.
What force power is that?
We just call that forced.
Well, that can't be good.
But I was amazed how strongly the Force was with him.
Why? What was it about him? Did he seem to have a higher aptitude, to be more force-sensitive than the others?
He was Jesus.
What?
He was immaculately conceived by the Force. The Force itself impregnated your grandmother, creating Force Jr., aka Anakin, who was, as you may expect, astoundingly powerful. Except when he wasn't. Which was most of the time, come to think of it.
Well, obviously he was strong enough to fight the Jedi, right? I mean, there has to be a reason he's so feared.
Yes, of course. He helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights.
I can't imagine what a terrible spectacle of evil that must have been. Seeing one of the greatest Jedi turned Sith betray everyone he'd fought side by side with for so long. It had to be a powerful, emotional experience wrung out through several epic battles. How many knights did he kill?
None to speak of.
What?
The vast majority of Jedi were simply shot from behind by brainwashed clones with blasters. So uncivilized. Order 66 is responsible for most of the significant Jedi deaths. Your father, well, he butchered many small children.
I don't understand, Ben. You said he hunted Jedi Knights.
A slight embellishment. He didn't hunt as much as he walked slowly into a room and murdered Jedi younglings. I may have seen a teenage corpse strewn amongst the bodies, so it's possible he fought with a Padawan or two as well.
That's it?
Now, he also cleared an entire room of unsuspecting, unarmed Trade Federation businessmen.
But no other Jedi?
I almost forgot. He did take on one notable post-pubescent Jedi.
Really? Well, it must have been a short fight, what with him being the Force incarnate and all.
It lasted nearly 13 minutes.
How did it end?
With Anakin flipping through the air, harmlessly sailing over his opponent with no discernible attack strategy, and somehow managing to get both his legs and arm chopped off in one stroke.
Wait, he lost the one fight he had with an adult Jedi?
You must understand, Luke, he didn't have the high ground. The Force itself couldn't overcome that advantage.
Who was this Jedi who so masterfully took the high ground? Do you know him?
Of course I know him. He's me.
Oh. Well, I guess my last question is, how long have you known that my father became Darth Vader?
I'm not entirely sure. I thought it was when I saw and heard Palpatine say to Anakin, "Rise, Lord Vader," and then Yoda affirmed that my student had in fact been consumed by Darth Vader. But it may have actually been years later when I abandoned my vigilance over you to take care of Leia on another planet. He showed up, and I remember being very, very surprised to find out he and Anakin were one and the same. The Force moves in mysterious ways.
This story is getting worse all the time.
But it's all true, from a particular perspective.
You know what? I think I'm done, Ben. I'm gonna find a remote planet, forsake the Force, grow a beard, and pursue the pathetic and pitiable existence of a broken hermit.
You must do what you feel is right, of course. But if you do take that particular path, there is much I can still teach you. Stretch out with your feelings once you've hit rock bottom.
I will. I promise. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be female.
Wait, what?
And away I go.